Welcome to another episode of Congoma Avenue right here on ATV. I'm your host, Kumbo Mohoni. Today in studio I have Natalia Govati, who is here from Fountain of Life, to talk to us a little bit about her organization and what they do. Thank you, Natalia. So tell us a little bit about Fountain of Life.
Fountain of Life is a local NGO that helps and supports victims of defilement, rape and sexual assault, primarily through trauma counseling. Fountain of Life operates in the one-stop centers that are being built by UNICEF and the government. Right now, the only fully functional one is one in Blantyre, Queens, and Zomba and Zuzu are now operational. The one-stop center is being built. So Fountain of Life works primarily through providing counseling to victims of sexual assault.
So you work primarily in the one-stop center. So what other services are available other than counseling?
One-stop center is named so because it is like a ward where victims go to access all the services that they need. When a victim is raped, they need the police, they need the magistrate to take the case to court, they need the medical doctor to examine them, they need a trauma counselor, they need social welfare. So UNICEF and government thought that all those services should be in one place, hence the one-stop centers. So the one-stop center has the medical doctor, where the victim is made by the doctor being examined to examine the evidence or even give physical examination of the victim. And then there's the police who takes up the case and then starts chasing the perpetrator to go to court. The magistrate who takes the case up to court. The social welfare who takes the case even further if the case is that complicated where the victim needs to get moved to another place if the place is not safe. And then finally, as the Fountain of Life, we provide the trauma counseling.
So was Fountain of Life an organization that started on its own, or was it made in conjunction with UNICEF?
No, it started on its own because for it to start, there was a victim who was raped and then she needed services. All these other services focus on the perpetrator. They focus on, we should get him arrested, or maybe the victim needs economic empowerment, stuff like that. But then the victim, psychologically, emotionally, what happens to the victim? How do we help the victim? So that's how Fountain of Life came about. We focus on the victim. That's why we need all these other services like the police, because they take up part of the perpetrator to get him arrested. But then what if the perpetrator is arrested? What about the victim? How are we going to take care of them? Because the effects are extreme. When you get raped and you don't get help, the effects are extreme. There's blame, there's depression. Even kids, they drop out of school, they even continue engaging in very bad sexual activities because of being raped. So the effects are very extreme to a point where we need to start focusing on the victim. That's how the NGO came about, because there were no services that primarily focused on the victim.
So how are some of the ways that you kind of deal with the victim who comes in? What are sort of things that you say?
Well, it's counseling. So most of the victims, we see them once, unless we actually insist that you come for follow-up sessions with the guardians or with the family. But most of them, we see them once. So it's sort of psychological first aid, where we assure the victim that, you're not to blame. Because even the other service, when you call the police, they mainly ask, what were you wearing for you to get raped? What did you do for you to get raped? The blame is always on the victim. But as a counseling session, we actually reassure the victim that you are a survivor. It's not your fault. This is the fault of the perpetrator who did this to you. Your life is not finished because it's trauma, because your life has changed. Your life has changed, you've been raped. We cannot go back to that. But then how are you going to carry yourself from now on? It's mainly reassurance to put the victim back into society as a survivor, not as a victim. Because when you go back into the environment as a victim, you can even get raped again because you're always alone, you're always depressed, you don't express yourself. But when you enter into the environment, the community as a survivor, you can actually help others, you can change your life for the better. So our focus is mainly to focus on the victim, mainly, I can just say that, yeah.
So is it hard working in a society, especially Malawian society, that doesn't really like to talk about sex or anything really surrounding that?
Yeah, it's hard. For us to actually start talking about it, we actually came up with this toolkit called Breaking the Silence. When the victims come in during the session, we ask them, what support systems do you have? And usually they always say church. Church is the main support system in Malawi, in which the victims say, oh, we can go to church to get help. So we thought, any victim, even a baby, can go to church. Malawi is a religious country, I guess. So we suggested that the religious bodies in Malawi get introduced to breaking the silence. They need to start talking about it, especially victims say they rely on them to talk about it. Churches have access to almost 100 people every Sunday. They are the greatest tool of awareness, actually, to get this issue out there and not hide behind gender-based violence, because rape is always hiding behind gender-based violence. But rape is another thing. So the church needs to step up and start helping and even talking about it through sermons. You can actually have a sermon about gender-based violence, yes, but then rape. As a victim, where can you get the service? They can actually tell the church where they can get services if they're raped or being defiled, because every week there's a story about defilement in the newspaper. Yeah. So the church can actually take part. That's why we had this toolkit called Breaking the Silence. It's for churches to respond effectively to victims of defilement, rape, and sexual assault. It's mainly to help the community start talking about rape, where the services are, how the victim gets affected. It's just breaking the ice to start talking about it. A way to just start talking about it. Sex, rape is not a taboo anymore. It's a case. There are cases that are happening every day. So it's a crucial issue, it's a global issue, we need to start talking about it, and churches need to be part of that. So hence breaking the silence.
So how exactly does it work? Like, show us how it works.
Well, it's a book of 8 stories. There's no text at all, but then the stories are in 4 languages: Chichewa, English, Yawe, Tumbuka, then 4 main languages in Malawi. So it's just 8 stories that actually happened in newspaper and found us even at the One Stop Center. So people can just put posters, they mainly put posters of these stories and ask what is going on in this story, what is happening, does this happen in the community. We found that people actually respond more when it's pictures, because a lot of issues come out. When there's a story, you can ask, does this happen in your community? People say, yes, it happens. So how do you deal with such issues? So that's when they start coming out. Or a lot come out, maybe even the pastors are perpetrators, even the teachers are perpetrators, even the mafumu, the chiefs. So it's just a way to just break the ice for people to start talking about it. When they start talking about it, they learn where they can get the services. All of the stories involve the victim getting help or not. So if there's a story that ends with them going to the hospital, they will learn about the hospital. Yeah, I've facilitated workshops where all the church leaders that came, I told them how to use the toolkit and about the one-stop centers. So it's out there, and even I can go show you one of the one-stop centers that is functional, which is Queens, where they can learn more about the one-stop centers and the services that are available for victims out there. Yeah.
Can you just show us like an example of some of the pictures before we're wrapping up here?
Well, like this is a story about a child with a disability. The father left and then the mother didn't know what to do, so she also left and followed the husband. So it was just the...
So if you could like hold it up so we can see.
Yeah, okay. Like this story, it starts here. You can actually see the father pointing that apparently he left because of this child with a disability. He couldn't stay with the child with a disability because of the hassle. So he left. The mother followed the husband. She also left and left the 10-year-old daughter and the 14-year-old son alone. She left the son to look after the 10-year-old girl, but she's in a wheelchair. So as part of taking care of her, every afternoon before giving her a bath, he would rape her. So after raping, while all this was happening, the neighbors were just watching. So you can actually see that he is raping her. And then afterwards, he would bathe her, but then the neighbors are watching. So in this story, you can actually involve the neighbors. Why are the neighbors not reporting this? It was happening every day. Why not? So you can ask questions. How can I help the victim? She's a child with a disability. She relies on someone. It's part of what's happening. The victims that we encounter. You know, there are victims who are helpless. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you so much for showing us this booklet, Breaking the Silence. Yep. And I know that we're going to go and you're going to show us around the one-stop center that's in Queens, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to show you one of the functional one-stop centers in Malawi, which is Queens, the one-stop center, where you're going to see all the services that the victims can access at the hospital. Yeah. Hi, I am Natalia Govat and I'm here to show you the One Stop Center as earlier on explained. The One Stop Center is a ward which UNICEF and the government have built and are still building in all of the district hospitals in Malawi, where victims of sexual assault, defilement, rape come to get all the services that they need. The counselors, the medical doctor, the social welfare magistrate and the police officer are all found here. So I'm going to give you a tour of what it's like in One Stop Center and how the services are. Alright, welcome to the One Stop Center building. This is where now the victims come in to receive the services that they need. We are in the reception room where the victims wait. If there's a client already in the examination rooms, they wait here. And the receptionist gets all the information. Not what happened to them, but that's the information, the name, the age, the basic info. They get it here. So I'm going to show you the examination room. That's where the victim comes in first to meet the medical doctor or the clinical officer. Alright, so this is the examination room where the victims come in to meet the doctor. This is the most important part of the process because it is where the victim gets examined if they were really raped or not, and to even extract the evidence if it happened immediately. So here is where the victim meets the doctor, he or she gets examined to get the evidence and to actually help if there are any damages to the body. If the victim is above, like went through puberty, that's where now they get, the emergency pill, they get prescribed for post-exposure prophylaxis, which is PEP, if they are not HIV positive. So this is the most important part of the process. This is where we insist that you should report immediately for that examination. It's important for the physical part of the examination and also to extract evidence that the police can use in court that the victim was really raped. Yeah, apart from the medical examination officer or the clinician, there are also other services that the One Stop Center provides. One of which is the social welfare officer or the community child protection officer. So these are sort of like the support systems now a victim needs after being raped or sexually assaulted. So the social welfare comes in when the case is that complicated, where maybe the child or the victim needs to be extracted from the community in which they're in or stuff like that. They come in as a support system or to take the case further to help the victim. If maybe the perpetrator has not been in court, that's where they come in to give that support. So the social welfare officer is also here at the One Stop Center. And this is his or her office. So this is the child play or interview room, where there are other cases where the victim is a child who cannot explain what happened to them. So they come in here. This is part of Fountain of Life's services, where the child is interviewed or they play for them to express what happened to themselves when they cannot explain on their own. So as you can see, it says session in progress. When there's a session in progress, it means nobody needs to disturb, because once you get disturbed and the child maybe ceases to explain what was happening. So this is an important part of the process. If the child is small, they cannot explain, they come in here to express through art, through playing with dolls or teddy bears or carving. This is where they do it. So I'm going to show you right now. Yeah, so as I explained earlier on, the One Stop Center is a child-friendly environment where we don't want kids to feel like they're being interrogated or they're being interviewed or they're being threatened to explain. They come in here and they feel like it's part of home. They know everyone, and sometimes they're scared to explain to the people that they know, because maybe the perpetrator is somebody that they know. But when they come here and find somebody new, they're actually more enthusiastic, more willing to explain what happened to them. And when they come into this environment, they express themselves freely and actually more, they don't lie about it. They come in here, they cannot lie about what happened to them by drawing. Everything comes out in here. So this is also part of the services that Fountain of Life provides. Yeah, as you can see, it's quite a long process for a victim to get all the services here. That's why we have the resting room. Whether the dad maybe came at a late hour or the guardian is waiting while the victim is being examined, they can meet in the resting room. So they also have resting room. Another component of the One Stop Center is the Malawi Police Service. They're also part of the One Stop Center service. So when the victim comes in, previously, as I explained earlier, victims used to go either to the police first or to the hospital first. If they go to the police first, maybe they were told, or go to the hospital to get a medical report. And then if they go to the hospital first, or go to the police to get a police report first. They were just being thrown here and about to get the service. But now the police and the medical doctor are all in the same building. The victim does not need to go somewhere else to get all the information. The police officer is right here. So the police, when he hears what happened, he takes up the case and then follows up, and then that's a part of their job to catch the perpetrator and even help in prosecuting the perpetrator. So the police officer is also right here, and that is his office. So finally, this is the counseling service office where Fountain of Life sees all their clients. It could either start with the social fair or the counseling, but then this is where we do our work. So come in. Yeah, so welcome to our counseling room where Fountain of Life works. In here, as you can see, it's a quiet environment where the counselor and the victim get to talk. Our job is mainly to listen, if possible, provide solutions what they can do, but we are just there to listen and show them that we care, there's somebody that cares. Most of the times we meet the client only once, so we are required to give what is called psychological first aid, because most of them do not come back for various reasons. But when they do, we actually insist that it is not their fault, it's the fault of the perpetrator. You are not a victim, you survive of this, you can go through this. If possible, if the guardian comes in for the service as well, to give preventive measures that this should not happen again. We have one of our comfort packs in which if the victim comes in immediately after being raped, sometimes they've got bloody clothes, they don't have soap or change of underwear or something to her to cover themselves, because the police and the medical doctor actually takes those clothes as evidence, as part of their case to provide in court as part of evidence. So we give them soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, face towel, and a wrap that they should, and maybe a t-shirt if all the clothes that they're wearing are evidence part of the case. So we give them this, it's called the comfort bag. you saw earlier on that there's a bathroom, the toilets, they can have a shower later on after being examined. So in here, it's basically our safe haven where the victim feels comfort that they need, because even when they're at home, some people don't believe them, even the parents, they don't believe the victim. But in here, it's a new person, somebody who won't judge them, somebody who won't, no previous issues about the victim. When the victim comes in here, they are free to say whatever it is they want to say, but we are mainly there to listen and to provide the guidance that they need and to assure them that it's not their fault, but they can also get help from us whenever that they need. So this is usually one of the last services that they need when they're going home, to go away with comfort. When the police helps them, when the medical doctor helps them, when the social worker helps them, it's the last place where now they feel comforted. Yeah, so this is our environment, this is our office, this is Fountain of Life. You're welcome anytime. You don't have to be a recent victim to get the services. You can come in, walk in anytime at Queens to say, I want to see a counselor. It's a free service at no fee to you. You can come see us anytime. This is the environment that you'll be working in. You'll not be judged. You won't be pointed at. You won't require, a full move. Anybody will listen to you here. You get the service that you need. We'll listen to you, we'll give you help. So please, if you know someone, if you're a victim, or you know someone, or you can actually see somebody being abused, please refer them to us, or you can come to us. We will help them and we will help you. Don't suffer on your own. You'll find us here. Thank you.
Yeah, so finally I've been saying one-stop center, one-stop center, one-stop center. UNICEF, the government have changed the names of all the services, mostly the child protection services, into Chichewa names where people can relate and actually know what's happening. So the one-stop center has been translated to Chikwanekwane Center. Yeah, it really means one-stop center, where you find everything there, Chikwanekwane Center, everything. So don't be alarmed when you see Chikwanekwane, it's still one-stop center. I've been saying one-stop center because I'm used to it, but it's Chikwanekwane. So when you see that symbol, that hand, it means it's one-stop center, the Chikwanekwane Center. You find all the services here. Yeah.
Well, that has been our episode. We hope that you have been informed and educated about One Stop, that you've seen the center, you know where it is, and that you know where to get help regardless of where you are. You know that there is a place for you to get help, for you to get counseling if you've ever been the victim of rape or sexual assault or defilement. Thank you so much for joining me on Congoma Avenue here on ATV. I'm your host, Kumbo Mohoni. I'll see you next week.